Let me tell you about two people. They are the same age, they grew up in the same town, they went to the same school. They got the same jobs right out of college, and they earn almost exactly the same salary. 30 years later, one of them retires with just over $600,000 in the bank. The other one retires with less than $40,000 and has to keep working. Completely different outcome. The difference was not a lucky stock pick. The only difference was that one of them invested $500 per month starting at age 25, and the other one kept saying they would start next year. That's it. That is the entire gap. $500 a month and the decision of when to start. My name's Andrew, and this channel exists to show you the math that nobody showed you in school. If that gap between $600,000 and $40,000 just made something click in your head, hit subscribe and let's break down exactly how this happens. Let's start with the number that makes this whole thing work. It is called compound interest, and it is either the most powerful force working for you or the most powerful force working against you, depending on what you do with your money. Here is the simple version. When you invest money, it earns a return. Then that return gets added to your original investment, and the whole combined amount earns a return. Then that combined amount grows again and earns another return on top of that, and it keeps going. Every single year, the base amount gets bigger, which means the return gets bigger, which means the base gets even bigger the following year. It sounds simple because it is simple, but the results it produces over time are anything but simple. Let's run the actual numbers. You invest $500 per month. You earn an average annual return of 8%, which is a conservative estimate based on the historical average return of a basic index fund tracking the US stock market. You do this for 30 years without stopping and without touching the money. Here is what happens. In the first year, you contribute $6,000 and your account grows to roughly $6,240. Not dramatic. In year 5, you have contributed $30,000 and your account is worth about $35,000. Still feels modest. In year 10, you have contributed $60,000 and your balance has climbed to around $87,000. Now it starts to get interesting. In year 20, you have contributed $120,000 and your balance is approximately $294,000. You have more than doubled your contributions without adding a single extra dollar. And then in year 30, you have contributed $180,000 total and your balance has grown to approximately $611,000. $611,000! From $500 per month, from money that most people spend on things they cannot remember buying 3 weeks later. Now here is where the wake-up call really lands, because most people hear those numbers and think, okay, that sounds great. I will start when I have more money. I will start when I pay off this debt. I will start when I get the raise. I will start next year. And that decision, that single decision to wait, is one of the most expensive decisions a person can make. Let me show you exactly how expensive. Person A starts investing $500 per month at age 25. They invest for 30 years and stop at age 55. They contribute a total of $180,000 over those 30 years, and by the time they hit retirement age, their account has grown to approximately $611,000. Person B waits until age 35 to start. Same $500 per month, same 8% return, but they only have 20 years instead of 30. They contribute a total of $120,000, and their account grows to approximately $294,000 at retirement. Person A invested $60,000 more than Person B, but Person A ended up with $317,000 more because the earlier contributions had more time to compound. But it gets worse. Let's look at Person C, who waits until age 45. Same $500 per month, same 8% return, only 10 years to invest. They contribute $60,000 total, and their account grows to approximately $87,000 at retirement. Person C contributed the same amount as Person A in their first 10 years, but Person C ends up with $524,000 less. Same money, completely different outcome. The only variable was time. This is what financial experts mean when they say time in the market beats timing the market. It is not a motivational slogan. It is arithmetic. The earlier your money goes in, the more compounding cycles it gets to run, and every cycle you miss by waiting is a cycle you can never get back. Now, let's talk about the part where most people check out of this conversation, because when they hear $500 per month, they immediately think, I don't have $500 per month. I am barely covering my bills. This is not realistic for me. And I understand that reaction. But I want to push back on it, because most people who say they cannot find $500 per month have never actually looked at where their money is going. The average American household spends over $300 per month on dining out, over $200 per month on entertainment and streaming subscriptions, over $150 per month on impulse purchases, things bought online late at night that arrive at the door 3 days later and get used twice. That is $650 per month in spending that most people would struggle to account for specifically if you asked them to list it right now. I am not telling you to stop eating out entirely or to cancel every subscription and sit in silence. I am telling you that $500 per month is probably already leaving your account every month. It's just not going anywhere useful. And if $500 genuinely isn't possible right now, the math still works at smaller numbers. $300 per month at 8% over 30 years grows to approximately $367,000. $200 per month grows to approximately $244,000. Even $100 per month, the cost of 2 dinners out, grows to approximately $122,000 over 30 years. The number matters less than the habit. What destroys people financially is not the size of their investment. It is the years they spend not investing anything at all while they wait for the perfect moment to start. Okay, so you are convinced you want to start. Where does the $500 actually go? This is where people get paralyzed because they think investing means picking stocks, monitoring charts, and somehow knowing things that professional Wall Street traders do not know. And that fear of getting it wrong keeps them doing nothing, while their money sits in a savings account earning 0.5% per year while inflation quietly eats it alive. Here is the simple version. You do not need to pick stocks. You do not need to understand earnings reports or read financial news every morning. You need a tax-advantaged account and a low-cost index fund. That's it. If your employer offers a 401k with any kind of match, that is your first stop. A 401k match is free money. Your employer contributes additional funds based on what you put in, up to a certain percentage. If your employer matches 3% and you are not contributing at least 3%, you are leaving part of your compensation on the table every single pay period. That is not a metaphor. That is cash you earned that you are not collecting. If you do not have a 401k, or once you have captured the full employer match, a Roth IRA is your next destination. A Roth IRA lets you invest after-tax dollars and then withdraw everything, contributions, and all the growth completely tax-free in retirement. On a $611,000 balance, that tax-free status is worth an enormous amount of money. Inside either of these accounts, you put your money into a low-cost index fund, something like a total market index fund or an S&P 500 index fund. These funds own tiny pieces of hundreds or thousands of companies automatically. When the market goes up, your fund goes up. When the market goes down, your fund goes down temporarily and then historically goes back up. You do not manage it. You do not touch it. You just keep contributing every month and let the compounding do its work. The biggest mistake people make is overthinking this. The best investment strategy is the one you actually stick to consistently for 30 years. A boring index fund that you never touch will outperform the elaborate stock picking strategy that you abandon the first time the market drops 15%. So if the math is this clear, if the strategy is this simple, why are most people not doing it? The average American has less than $65,000 saved for retirement. The median retirement savings for someone in their 50s, people who are 10 to 15 years away from needing this money, is under $90,000. These are not lazy people. These are not people who lack intelligence or ambition. These are people who were never shown this math clearly and who got caught in a set of cultural traps that kept pulling money away from their future selves. The first trap is lifestyle inflation. Every time income goes up, spending goes up to match it. The raise that was supposed to create investment money gets absorbed into a nicer apartment, a newer car, more frequent dinners out. The standard of living expands to consume whatever space the income creates, and there is never quite enough left over to invest. The second trap is the illusion of future action. There is always a reason why now is not the right time. The debt needs to come down first. The emergency fund needs to be built first. The income needs to be higher first. And none of those things are wrong priorities exactly, but they become excuses that compound over time, just like interest does. Except instead of building wealth, the delay destroys it. The third trap is intimidation. The financial industry has done a remarkable job of making investing seem complicated, risky, and reserved for people who understand things that regular people do not. The jargon, the products, the endless options, they create a sense that you need expertise you do not have before you can start. And that feeling keeps millions of people on the sidelines, while their most valuable asset, time, runs out. Here is the number I want you to sit with after this video. Not $611,000, not $500 per month. The number I want you to sit with is the number of years you have already waited. If you are 35 and you have not started yet, that is 10 years of compounding you cannot get back. You do not need a perfect budget. You do not need to understand every investment product on the market. You do not need to wait until your financial situation feels completely stable, because for most people, that feeling never fully arrives. You need $100 or $200 or whatever you can actually move this month. You need a Roth IRA or a 401k. You need a low-cost index fund. And you need to leave it alone and keep adding to it every single month for as long as you possibly can.
The math does not care about your excuses. It does not care about your bad timing. It does not care about the reasons you waited. It just runs. And every month you let it run is a month working for your future self instead of against them. Start now. Not next year, now. If this video made something click, hit subscribe. I will see you in the next one.